On 23 May 2023, the Commonwealth agreed to pay $22 million in settlement of the Wreck Bay PFAS land contamination class action. This class action relates to claims by group members for property value losses, inconvenience and distress, and for interference with use and enjoyment of the Wreck Bay land, including adverse impacts on traditional community usages and traditional cultural connection with the land. This class action does not relate to or include any potential claim for personal injury in relation to PFAS exposure. While we understand no amount of money can ever truly compensate group members for the harm suffered, we believe that this settlement provides some measure of justice. All registered group members and potential group members should have received or had access to a document entitled Notice as to Proposed Settlement of the Wreck Bay PFAS Land Contamination Class Action, which provides group members with important information about the settlement and their rights. The purpose of this video is to assist group members with understanding the notice, but you should read the notice in full. While the Commonwealth has agreed to settle the claim for the proposed amount of $22 million, it has not admitted any liability in relation to the harm or damage caused by the PFAS contamination. The proposed settlement amount of $22 million will be subject to the court's approval, which will take place over 2 separate hearings. The first stage of the settlement approval hearing has been scheduled for 10:15 a.m. on 19 June 2023 at the Federal Court of Australia in Sydney. The second stage hearing has not been set down at this time. At the first stage of the settlement approval hearing, the court will only be deciding whether the settlement amount of $22 million is fair and reasonable to group members. It will focus on whether that amount is enough to settle everyone's claims taken together and will take into account the risks of the class action winning or losing. The court will not be deciding on how the settlement amount should be distributed amongst group members, which will be decided at the second stage of the settlement approval hearing. All group member responses should be provided to the court by email by no later than 4 p.m. on 15 June 2023. The details are on our website at shine.com.au. If you don't want to write your views, you can tell the judge you want to talk in court using these same details. If the court finds that the proposed settlement amount of $22 million is fair and reasonable for the group members, the second stage of the settlement approval hearing will be set down to decide how the settlement amount will be distributed between the Wreck Bay Aboriginal Community Council and eligible group members. Shine lawyers cannot inform group members now what they might receive from the net settlement amount after deduction of legal costs, as neither the settlement nor the distribution process have been approved by the court. However, we will keep group members updated as this progresses. No more than $5 million will go to the legal fees of running the case up to the time it is settled, and the costs of approving the settlement and distributing it have to be allowed for too. The court is in charge of whether those amounts can be deducted. Group members will have another opportunity to voice their opinion to the court about how the settlement amount should be distributed prior to the second stage of the settlement approval hearing. So that we can answer any other questions that group members have in relation to the settlement approval process, Shine lawyers will be coming to Wreck Bay to hold a community information session. The community information session will be held from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Tuesday 13 June 2023 underneath a marquee tent, which will be set up on the grass area between the Wreck Bay office and the Wreck Bay Medical Clinic in Wreck Bay Village. In the meantime, group members can contact Shine lawyers on 13 11 99. We thank the Wreck Bay community for their assistance in this matter and look forward to meeting with you at the community information session on Tuesday 13 June 2023.